my name is Tanya Greenwood and welcome to Community Champions Training. I run the mobile early learning service in the Fingal Valley where I'm a project officer, and we support families and children 0 to 8 across the Fingal Valley and the wider North East Coast. Some of the things that the Community Champions Training have helped me with are around having conversations with the wider community about the value of the early years, helping us with funding and grant applications, so we had a clearer narrative about why we wanted it, what the value of the work that we did was. It's also helped us, I think, to reflect on the story that we tell to each other about our work. Burnout's a really major issue in the early years, so really valuing and reflecting on the stories and I guess the good opportunities that we've had to improve outcomes from families. So one person that really comes to mind when I think about what happened after the storytelling workshops was a grandmother in our local community. So Anne's a former kinder teacher. She has a beautiful granddaughter who was 2 years old. And what Anne was really concerned about was one of the most fabulous parks we have on the river. No one was using it, or very few people were using it, because of the concerns about the busy car park next door, about the water and the traffic on the bridge. So Anne decided to write to council to ask for some fencing, and what she did was write a letter to council, which I guess is what we would all do around the facts and figures. And on the back of the Community Champions Training, we talked about putting more stories and more personal experience in. We talked about putting more points of connection, because the people who are on council, they're families too, they've had small children as well. So we tried to make it more meaningful for them, more relevant, to put them in the place of taking small children to this park and being concerned about the traffic and the water and people coming and going. So Anne wrote in a revised letter about the experience of her family and the challenges she saw about these issues, and the council actually agreed to it and put a fence up at the end. Oh, look, we were so shocked because people have been talking for years about getting a fence, and council always saw it as a problem. It was too hard to do. I guess they just looked at things around risk and hazard and cost and maintenance. But when Anne put her own personal story about it, I think they got a greater understanding of the fact that this was impacting on families. They'd invested into this park and people weren't using it for some really obvious reasons if you're there with children, but to council it was a really confusing issue. Why don't people use it? So we were really shocked, really surprised, and really thrilled. So I'm really excited that you're all about to start this journey into storytelling. I encourage you to think and reflect on your own personal story and the message and outcome you want to share with your wider community, and I'm sure this training is going to help you get there.